Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
This is TWiT Live Special number 339, Apple's spring event, March 25th, 2019. Welcome once again to our microphones as we begin coverage of yet another Apple event. Actually, we haven't had one since
the fall.
This is Apple's spring event at the Steve Jobs Theater. There's not many questions to ask today. Megan Morrone is sitting next to me from All About iOS.
All about everything.
All about iOS Today and Tech News Weekly. There's not many questions except which celebrities will be on stage. Let's go right now to the Steve Jobs Theater where the Apple event is about to begin. We know it'll be about, we suspect it'll be about Apple News and an Apple TV product, perhaps an Apple credit card, perhaps an Apple game system. Was that a Mac boot up sound? Oh, the old Apple logo. A Think Different production. And there's the Pinocchio nose we've become in association with the Misfits, Rebels, and Troublemakers. So this is funny. There's the 1984 commercial in an iPod style. Starring Macintosh, the original Macintosh. An iPhone with Touch ID. It's got that 70s look, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Apple trying to show it has Hollywood chops.
The old Apple Pencil, written by the old Apple Pencil.
So a lot of callbacks to Apple tropes. A million no's for every yes. Location Scout, Apple Maps. Production Assistant, you know who. Shlomo. An Apple Wallet, the old Apple logo. Apple Pay. Produced by 100% renewable energy credits. Based on a garage in Los Altos. It's kind of fun. Directed by the crazy ones. So really a lot of tributes here to the old Apple.
And just opening credits.
Yeah. And now for our feature presentation. Oh, I get it. There's lots of popcorn and Coca-Cola in the lobby.
Thank you.
Tim
Thank
Cook.
you. Thank you.
Kerneck, black sweater, white shirt, jeans, and his sneakers.
Good
Look for
morning.
famous faces in the audience.
And welcome to the Steve Jobs Theater. As you can tell, today's going to be a very different kind of event. We've got some really exciting things to share with you, and we're going to have some fun along the way. So let's get going. For decades, Apple has been creating world-class hardware and world-class software. We've also been creating a growing collection of world-class services, and that is what today is all about.
Really what this is a pivot for Apple from a hardware company to a services company.
So what is a service?
What is a
Well,
service,
if you look
Tim?
it up in the dictionary,
Oh,
you'll see
really,
that a
Tim?
service is defined as the action of helping or doing work for someone. At Apple, our services are actively working to help our customers get the most out of their products and to enrich their lives. Using iPhone as an example, let's take a look at our services in action. The iPhone you carry with you, with its powerful hardware and powerful software, allows you to capture the very best moments of your life. And our iCloud service helps you easily share those photos with loved ones and automatically makes your entire photo library available across all of your devices, anytime, anywhere, safe and protected. This is just one example of the benefits that come from the seamless integration of hardware, software, and services. And this is something that Apple does better than anyone else. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Johnny.
Hardware and software, perhaps.
We have a whole range of
Apple's
services.
service is notoriously
like iCloud,
troubled.
Our service which keeps your contacts, calendar, notes, and as I just showed you, your photos, and even your documents up to date across all of your devices. Siri is the most popular personal assistant in the world that helps you get things done just by asking. And Apple Maps, the most used navigation system on iOS by far. Apple Pay is our service that lets you make secure purchases in stores and apps and on the web. And we offer communication services like messages and FaceTime so you can stay connected with people that you love.
And people
We provide
just want to
services
listen
that
in
help
on.
you locate your devices with Find My iPhone, or simply know that your kids made it to school on time with Find My Friends.
Is that what
And then
people
there's
use
Apple
that for?
Music and podcasts and books and the App
That's not what
Store
I use
and
it for.
Apple News.
You mean Stalk My Friends.
Services that deliver incredible content and experiences directly to you whenever and wherever you are. Now, most of these services are free, while some of them are paid, offering very valuable content from talented creators, storytellers, and artists. We take the same approach at Apple with our services as we do our products. They have to be easy to use.
Lots of questions
They have
today.
an
Pricing will be
uncompromising
what
attention
the package,
to detail,
the bundle will look like,
design and engineering.
what you'll get.
They're designed
where
to
you'll get
keep
it.
your personal information private
We
and
know
secure.
it'll be news, TV,
But not Netflix.
perhaps games.
And
Not Netflix, not the New York
And with our
Times,
services,
not the
we do even
Washington
more.
Post.
they're curated
At least
by our
according to rumor.
expert editors. They're personalized just for you. And they're designed to be shared with your entire family. Now, today, we're excited to extend our services even further, making them even more entertaining, more useful, and more informative. So let's get started
With Oprah.
with Apple News.
I have to point out that the cheering is, of course, coming from Apple employees.
When we created Apple News over
Not the
3 years ago,
press, and you can see
we
the
wanted to
press
provide the best way to
sitting on
read
their
the news
hands,
on
I
your
hope.
iPhone and iPad. And we felt we could make a difference in the way that news is experienced and understood. A place where the news would come from trusted sources and be curated by experts. Now, this is a very different approach than others have taken. As Slate pointed out, by handpicking its publishers and stories, Apple News prioritizes a news source's reputation and the value of its content over the propensity of its headlines to garner clicks and likes.
Slate said that because Slate's often featured on Apple News.
With news
We like
being
Apple's
so
choices.
important to us, it's critical that it be trusted. With over 5 billion articles read each month, Apple News is now the #1 news app. It's unbelievable. In fact, Apple News has become an essential daily destination for millions of people. Our editors pick the top
wonder
stories
number one in
every
what
day
context?
so you can stay on top of important news. You get a personalized
Most
news
installations,
feed, delivering
probably.
stories on topics that are
But you
most
don't- it comes installed,
interesting
Most
to
pre-installed.
used,
you,
right.
whether they come from publishers that you regularly read or from ones that you are completely new to you. Now, when it comes to major events, our team of editors curates collections of the best stories from news and sports, entertainment, and so much more.
Apple has invested heavily
Probably,
in its curation on these news
Like
apps,
many of you,
using human curators,
I love the feeling of being at the
like our
newsstand.
former colleague, Nathan
With all those
Oliveris
beautiful
Giles,
and thought-provoking
many other people
magazines
hired from the
covering
tech world.
So many topics.
So this is where the
We
texture
want them
stuff comes in,
all.
I'm guessing.
There you go, magazine
We
stand.
might only be able to get one or maybe two.
Yeah.
But what if we could have them all?
Well, we did, but
Well,
you bought it.
today, we're going to do just that.
We were paying
We're bringing
$9.99 before.
magazines to
We've
Apple News.
invented texture. Oh, who are those people?
I don't know. One of them said, wow, though.
With amazing design and striking photography, in-depth journalism.
This is sounding just like our
magazines are
former texture
iconic
ads.
and a part of our culture. They follow and create the latest trends
Justin
in
and
fashion
Haley?
and style. They entertain.
Who's surprised? Miley
They
and
educate
what?
us about the world we live in. They provide insights into science
did love
and technology.
Texture.
I did
They go
too.
behind the scenes with
Still do.
exclusive interviews of
Do you
our
still pay
favorite
$9.95 a
artists.
month?
I certainly hope
They
not.
feature the
I haven't
work
checked.
of some of the world's best journalists. They cover the world of sport. They bring today's business, innovation, and technology into focus. And they tell stories that give us perspective. All of
These
these
are
magazines
pretty much the
come to
same
life
lineups.
in an all-new service that we call Apple News Plus.
News Plus. Okay, so this will be a paid service, I presume. News is free. Texture was $10 a month.
This is going to
There's
take
the
Apple
benchmark.
News to a whole new level. We've made a video about the
My
power
guess is
of journalism.
he's going to hold off on
and its
price
cultural
until
impact,
he's
and I'd
talked
love to
about
play
the
it
whole
for you now.
packages, because I'm going to guess there's a bundle.
Right. I wouldn't mind getting rid of that pile of New Yorkers that I never read.
Well, that's what I use Texture for, although you can subscribe to the New Yorker independently.
Right.
And I do read it on the
My
iPad.
passion as a journalist has been to help readers.
But I have to
better
say, Texture
understand
was
the
great
moment that
because
we're
you didn't
living in.
have to subscribe to any individual
definitely
magazine.
go further to get
Something
a shot
perhaps the
than my
magazine
wife let
publishers
me
aren't
go.
as crazy about.
Yeah.
There was early conversation about Apple having some trouble getting people to sign up for the deal of Apple News Plus. But it looks like they've got all of the same players. They've got Condé Nast.
Representation in front of the camera is important, but representation behind the camera is even more important.
Yeah, we haven't heard
One
of
the
magazines that haven't
functions
signed
of
up.
journalism in this moment is
Yeah, but I
often
haven't seen any that.
of power.
well, I guess,
who has it, who doesn't have it.
I mean, this
and
to
what
me
the
was the backbone of Texture. Was things like the National
Photography can
Geographic,
take us anywhere
Popular
in
Science. They showed, those
world of
backbone
stories.
magazines,
And
Variety,
gives you an empathy
all the Condé Nast
you
magazines like the New
could have
Yorker
never
and
imagined.
Vanity Fair.
Great writing,
And then the
ideally,
Real Simple, so you didn't have to feel guilty when you were holding
When you
it.
bought all
no one
that
would
stuff.
know what you were reading when you were holding your iPad.
Freezing time.
A lot of nice photography.
Part of my job
And of
is to
course,
shed
this is
light
where
on
Texture
stories
really
that
shone on the
go into
iPad.
dark.
Was it was a really great way to see images from
The
magazines,
container
better than
for
the
these
printed
stories is
magazines.
changing. If we have a place to go to that we can trust to hold all
But
these
they still had
stories,
advertising. It
it's
was
going
not
to
ad
help.
free.
It was the full magazine, including all the ads in the magazine. And I don't think Apple would be able to make a deal that said you don't get the ad revenue.
No.
That's the real question. According to the Wall Street Journal, Apple wanted 50% of revenue, and then would take the rest and divide it among magazines depending on how many minutes people spent reading them. And the other issue that for a lot of publishers was Apple would keep information private about the subscribers. And of course, magazines really value that database. They can sell it, monetize it in many ways, including sending, offers to you to buy the magazine.
We should say that Apple bought Texture. Someone in the chat room is asking if Texture went away. They bought them. This is Texture. For people who
Yeah,
remember
but
that.
the Texture subscription continued until presumably now.
Vice President of Applications. Roger?
Yeah, I tried to re-sign up for Texture over the weekend, and it just took me into this endless loop.
Okay, so yeah.
I'm thrilled to tell you about the new service we're bringing to Apple News. Our goal for
I don't
Apple
think
News
we've
Plus
ever seen
was
this guy,
simple.
Roger.
We wanted to create the best magazine reading experience ever for a mobile device. Apple News Plus will bring you over 3,000 magazines across all, 300 magazines.
Thank you. I didn't even know there were
across all
3,000.
topics like entertainment,
Texture always said 200 plus.
fashion,
So 300 might be enough,
news and
or
politics.
just a different counting.
We've got great
I don't
health
see anything yet that
magazines
wasn't on Texture.
and great lifestyle magazines. We've got magazines for travelers, magazines for foodies, magazines for gearheads. We've got magazines for just about every passion under the sun. And Apple News Plus is the only place
The
where you will
Atlantic
find all these
is in that list. I
magazines
don't
in
know
a
if the
single
Atlantic
package.
was on Texture, and the reason is that the people who do the Atlantic have a very aggressive digital plan.
To show it to you, I'd like to invite up Wyatt Mitchell, Apple's Director of Design for Applications.
Thank you, Roger.
Nope, Atlantic was
Let's
on
take a look at the new Apple News
texture.
Plus.
So.
It all starts with the same great Apple News free experience. And that means it's got top
This guy
stories.
has always been an incredible dresser. He looks like he's wearing a white
stories.
mechanic's jumpsuit at this point.
Those are in.
And here are my personalized
Are they?
recommendations.
Yes.
Thank you for being here. And
With an Apple News Plus
otherwise, I would have
subscription,
thought that's
the
weird.
experience is even better. It means I get the latest.
Can I wear
magazine.
those now?
Yeah, please do.
With this design, we wanted to add the best of the magazine experience into the app.
And the cuffs
starts with
are
the cover.
shortened so we could see
We wanted
his.
to make them even more inviting and
Apple
entrance
Watch?
into
No,
another world.
what
we created
are they?
a
What do they
lot.
call? What's the hip word for shoes?
Kicks.
There you go.
Amazing aerial view.
They're rolled up so we can see his, as the kids say, kicks. So I
It's an
imagine they're
amazing aerial
fancy
view of
kicks.
Sydney, Australia, and what looks like an incredible issue. So let's take a look.
Remember, he was
When I
wearing
tap
quite
on
a
the
wild
cover,
outfit
take
at the
it to
last
table of
event.
contents, where I can see all
I think it's the same
articles
guy,
in the issue.
unless they've
I can
got
jump
two
to whichever
wildly
one I'm interested in,
dressed
like this.
people at Apple News.
Here I land in a National Geographic article.
Maybe they do.
Beautifully designed.
This was the big problem with
And full
texture
of
was the
amazing
magazines were
infographics.
responsible for the user interface.
Apple News Plus makes the
And so
experience
some
of diving
magazines
into
look
an
better
issue
on
even
texture
more
than
fun and
others.
exciting. It's really like having National Geographic designed for my phone. And to get
I
more,
believe
I can just tap on the
those
table of
kicks
contents,
are
or I
triple
can
white
browse the issue
Yeezys,
by
I'm
simply
thinking.
swiping
I
from article
may be wrong on that.
like this. I can read full magazine issues, no matter where or when, right on my phone. All right, let me get back to the Today tab. There are more recommendations of articles and issues here, but the place to explore all magazines is the News Plus tab.
It's interesting. He's showing this on
Here,
an iPhone,
we
not
wanted to design a home
an iPad
dedicated
where it
to
really
everything about enjoying
shines.
magazines.
Well, he said it was designed for
I
the
can easily
iPhone.
find my favorite titles right here in my magazines.
That's interesting.
There's the National Geographic I was just looking at. Here's one of my all-time favorites, The New Yorker. I'll also see suggestions like popular science here, based on my interests. And recent issues are automatically downloaded, so I'll already have them before I board a flight.
That's
Scrolling down, here's
a little different
one of
from
our first
texture. You had
looks.
to manually
New
say,
cover
I
of
want
Rolling
to
Stone,
automatically download
featuring
these.
some of the stars of Game of Thrones. Now, everything here is curated by the Apple News editors and personalized, which makes it really easy to discover a great article or explore a topic. Like this group of travel stories recommended for me. I've been reading a lot about Costa Rica.
I'm going to start wearing mechanics
recently.
overalls from now
While I'm
on.
not a regular reader of Marie Claire,
That's a good look.
I can see that News Plus is recommending their article on traveling there, which is really smart and really great. I'll also see featured articles like this one from Wired magazine, and new issues like this one from Essence, with Issa Rae on the cover. Now, along with the cover, I can see a few articles from the
Did you see that? It was a moving cover.
really easy to
a
browse.
Harry Potter style.
I'm going to tap on this
Live
story
cover. That's
because I'm
something
a big fan
texture
of her
does not
show,
do.
Insecure. And here we enter another beautifully designed article.
Yeah, it looks like
Design
Apple's
plays such a
given
big
these
part of
magazines some
we really wanted to give
help
the
with
titles
their
their
layout.
ability to express their own unique look and feel through their design, typography, and photography. And this is really a great example of it. This is Essence designed for the phone. So it looks great here on the phone. Let's take a look at it on an iPad.
There you go.
I'm going to open up the same article on the iPad.
Please, not in portrait.
Mm-hmm. He better go.
And as you can see, the article looks fantastic here.
Do you
too.
read magazines
Nicely
that way?
adapted
I
to the
read them
larger
always in
size.
landscape.
No, landscape
And just like on the
always.
phone, I can always tap on the table of contents
Easier to hold.
to navigate to another article.
Like a
I'm
magazine.
going to try this beauty story. And here
Yeah, it
we
looks
have a
like Apple
beautiful
has a
photo essay.
standardized user interface for all these magazines.
The
That's a
iPad really
big
shows off great
change.
photography.
I mean, texture. Some magazines really were look like PDFs,
If I'm looking for
you know,
something
and some
specific
had
or just wanting to
nice
browse,
layout like this. This
I
is
can
a much
navigate
better.
to the full breadth of the catalog by just tapping here at the top. And here I have hundreds and hundreds of magazines.
I think this is if
I can
it's
find my
if it's
sports,
a relatively
music,
similar
my
price to
travel.
texture, this is a big
I
improvement.
can find the entire
bundled with
newsstand
something
that Tim
else.
referred
Yeah.
to right here on my iPad. And that's the new Apple News Plus, the best mobile magazine experience ever. Back to you, Roger.
He didn't go landscape. That's.
Thank you, Wyatt.
I feel like walking out.
I think
Is that a
Apple
deal
News Plus
breaker?
is awesome. No one has ever made digital magazines as gorgeous and readable as this.
I love the
Whether you like to
moving
read
covers.
whole
That's
issues
great.
cover to cover or individual articles, Apple News Plus is the best way to read magazines.
Well, I'll
on your
subscribe just
device.
for that if it's $10.
But Apple News Plus is about more than magazines. Apple News Plus also includes some of the most popular premium digital subscriptions like the Skim.
And TechCrunch and The Cut. But here's my problem. This is basically a walled garden of the internet, of the web.
Apple News Plus also includes
These are all websites.
The country's largest metropolitan newspaper, and a rising star, the LA Times.
So this was the big issue, is that a lot of the local newspapers aren't going to want to do this deal with a national.
I'm super proud to announce that Apple News Plus also includes one of the world's top newspapers, the Wall Street Journal.
So we knew it would have the Journal, didn't know the Times, the LA Times. Of course, the Journal has reported it won't be the New York Times or the Washington Post, which are two very successful digital subscriptions. And I think
industry-leading
I think they're right, because that's something you'd mention if you had it.
In that incredible collection of content is as easy.
But I think the LA Times might see this as an opportunity to become a national, much more important national newspaper.
From the ground up. And that's still true, and it's even more important
today. Good move,
today.
probably, for them.
So sometimes people ask us, how do we recommend the best articles for you without compromising your privacy?
How do you?
The answer is we download groups of articles from our servers, and then we use on-device intelligence to make recommendations. And that means
they won't be as good.
We don't know what you read, and in addition to that, we don't allow advertisers to track you.
This is a big deal, and I think a really appealing point of all of this. Of course, an advertiser doesn't track you when you read a magazine either.
You mean a paper magazine?
Yeah, but on the web they do.
So what you read about in Apple News will not follow you across the web.
And they do track your subscriptions.
So Apple News Plus,
over 300 that's true. They'd have a little more. They'd have more information, and I certainly get a lot of solicitations from other Condé publications because I subscribe to the New Yorker. That's something they won't get.
Yep.
If you were to subscribe to all of these individually,
it would cost $4 million.
$8,000 per year.
But no one would, because
you pay
there you go. There's the price, and it is the same price as Texture. $10 a month.
Plus the cut and all those other things you weren't paying for.
Right.
And that's not just for you. We thought this was so important. We decided to make this available to your entire family.
Yeah.
With family
and that was
sharing,
another benefit of Texture, although not an explicit benefit. I think a lot of people who use Texture, as I did, Lisa had the subscription, but we shared it. So this is explicit family sharing is great.
Full access to that incredible catalog.
Can I sign up
on their
today?
Own devices with their own favorites and their own personal recommendations. It's an amazing value. Apple News Plus is available today. Just download today's updates of iOS and macOS and launch Apple News.
Woohoo!
And the first month is free.
Woohoo!
I feel like I wish they'd included like some sort of cloud storage.
Well, it does imply that there isn't going to be a bundle, but maybe they'll do it at the end.
I'm happy to say we're also bringing Apple News and Apple News Plus to Canada in both English and in French.
That's great. Renee Ritchie is very happy there in the audience.
That's it.
And we're adding over 30 great Canadian magazines to Apple News Plus, along with the top newspaper in Canada, The Star.
Well, some might debate that, but...
And later this year, we'll be bringing Apple News Plus to Australia, and we'll be coming to Europe, starting with the UK.
This is, I think, a good move for Apple, and a good way to launch. People were saying on Twitter, oh, they're going to start with the boring one. I think it was Paul Thurado said that. But I think this is something that speaks to what people want.
The world's best publications all in one place, built on the principles that guide all of our services.
Multiply that times 800 million users.
We hope you like it. Thanks so much.
That's a significant amount of revenue. And I think that for people who have the discretionary income to spend on news and magazines, that's a reasonable purchase.
This is really important to us. We believe in the power of journalism and the impact it can have on our lives. And we want to make a valuable contribution to the industry and to society as a whole. We think Apple News Plus is going to be great for customers and great for publishers.
And it looks like an improvement, frankly, over Texture because of the unified layout features.
Now let's talk about Apple Pay.
Imagine some of the time since they purchased Texture is spent doing exactly that.
Apple Pay with a vision to replace the wallet.
Pour their workflow into their new layout.
Apple Pay is the simplest, most secure, and private way to pay.
This is where
and its
we
growth has been
expect perhaps to see about an Apple credit card in conjunction with Goldman Sachs.
We're on target to surpass 10 billion transactions this year.
Take a penny out of each of those, and it's $1 gazillion.
This is huge. We're looking forward to a future where all payments are made this way.
Yes, I bet you are.
Acceptance of Apple Pay has already passed 70% in the United States, and it's even higher.
That's a bright future for you, Apple.
Like Canada, the United Kingdom, and so many more, which broadly
I have to say I do
accept
use Apple Pay a lot more than
in Australia.
I used
we've
to.
achieved an amazing
99%.
Yeah, when I see that touch to pay, I often use the watch.
And we've been adding more and more countries. And by the end of this year, we expect that Apple Pay will be available in more than 40
I would get an Apple
countries.
credit card.
Would you?
Yeah.
What would be
depending on the benefits.
What do you? Yeah, I guess the benefits would probably be Apple Gear, right? Apple Points or something.
Easier and more convenient than ever before.
London, Moscow, Tokyo, Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou all allow you to use touch to pay on the subways, according to Apple.
Quickly through the turnstiles.
Not New York, although I'd heard that they were going to.
And I'm excited to tell you that we're bringing Apple Pay to transit in major cities in the U.S., starting right here on the West Coast with Portland and rolling out in Chicago and New York City later this year.
That's a lot better than that Oyster card or those Metro passes, I think.
Or just a separate app for
So retail, transit,
and
apps,
I do hope there's a watch
on the web, Apple Pay Cash.
version
There's
of that,
so many
'cause that's the
ways to
easiest way
use
to do
Apple
it.
Pay
I won't have
with
to
its
pull out my
convenience,
phone.
security, and privacy. And it's become the preferred way to pay for almost anything. But we want to take the Apple Pay experience even further. And we saw an opportunity to transform another fundamental method of payment.
What if they pretend to invent
and
cash?
that's the credit card.
Here we go.
Now, with the success and momentum of Apple Pay, we've learned a lot about
We've put Steve Jobs on the $5 bill.
Well, we all need them.
They've invented the
There's some
credit
things about the credit card experience that could be so much better.
Oh, yeah.
Like simplifying applications.
Okay.
Eliminating fees. Lowering interest rates. Offering clear and compelling rewards.
This is, I think this is a very important move for Apple.
Providing the security and the privacy
honestly,
that people have come to expect.
Tim
for
kind
Apple
of telegraphed his real intent here, which is to have a piece of every transaction ever.
We're going to do all of this and so much more, changing the entire.
Do you use an Amazon credit card?
No, I use Chase.
Today, we're introducing
Amazon's
a
pushing that all the time, but
and we call it Apple Card.
Apple Card. Tim Apple has introduced Apple Card.
But my Chase card, I can get points toward Apple products too. I don't use it that way.
Apple Card was created by Apple and built on principles that we stand for, like simplicity.
I kind of wish they wouldn't use the Apple
and privacy.
Emoji because
to tell you all about Apple Card,
hard to type.
I'm very pleased to invite up Jennifer
non-Apple
Bailey,
product.
Vice President of Apple Pay. Jennifer?
On Twitter, if you're using Android, Tim is Tim Squarebox.
He is.
Not Tim Apple.
Thank you. With Apple Card, we have completely rethought the credit card.
This is really interesting.
A new kind of card that takes advantage
Not
of
the first. Google's had a branded credit card,
is
which they
designed for a
discontinued.
healthier financial
Part of
life
the Google Wallet.
and sets a new level for privacy and security. Apple Card is designed to take advantage of the power of the iPhone. This means it can do all sorts of things that no other credit card can
Including
do.
Sherlock Visa.
For starters, you don't have to wait days to get your card.
Sign up on the iPhone.
Just sign up on your iPhone.
Oh, man, do they have
And in
it
just
down.
minutes, you get your Apple Card and you can start using it right
It's
away.
good here in the Apple Garden.
Start
Life is
spending money you
good.
don't have right away.
It says use worldwide where Apple Pay is
You can use it
accepted, which is
worldwide, anywhere with Apple Pay.
pretty
in
much
apps,
everywhere.
In stores, on the web. And your Apple Card will be available across all of your Apple devices. Apple Card is also always with you because it's in your iPhone, in the Wallet app. And the Wallet app has completely new capabilities. So you can see
Apple's
everything you
been
need
a little
to know
schizophrenic
about your
about the
Apple
Wallet app.
Card,
Originally, it was
like
intended
what
to be
you
this
spent,
kind of a payment
how much you spent,
app.
where and when your payment is due.
And then it became a lot less.
We've also made it
looks like
really
it's
easy
coming
to get
back.
help. With Apple Card, if you have a question, just text us right from Messages.
That's great.
Everything from getting details on a transaction to letting us know your new address. It's as easy as messaging a friend.
But of course, you can't use it on Android.
Next we've
Did you
taken
just
on
fall
an
over?
important challenge with
Yes,
Apple
I was so
Card
excited
to help
about the credit
everyone
card.
live a healthier financial life. It starts with having
I'm trying
a
to
better
download the new
understanding of
Apple
your
News, and I
spending
haven't
so you can
received
make
an update
smarter
yet,
choices with your
unfortunately.
money. Many of you looking at your credit card statements today might recognize seeing transactions that look like this.
Oh, yes.
Cryptic merchant names that are pretty hard to decipher. With Apple Card, we use machine learning and Apple Maps to transform this mess into names and locations that you'll recognize.
That is great. I spend
guy
time
who wrote
Googling
that.
trying to figure out what my husband has bought.
Yeah, yes, I agree.
Apple Card also automatically organizes and totals your purchases, so you can
this
see
is
how
great.
much
So
you've spent and exactly where
They're
you've
basically
spent it
getting
with
to
Apple Maps.
financial services,
And you
including
can keep
financial
track of your
planning.
spending by
Oh, look at that.
categories, like food and drink, shopping, entertainment, and more.
Watch out, Mint.
Where each category is represented by its own color, like orange for food and drink. And Apple Card also shows you how your spending is trending.
Budgeting built in.
Week over week.
Of course,
or
that's
month
only
over
if you bought it
month.
with Apple Card, but
So you can decide
or
in real
not.
time if you need to or want to
will they
change
connect to
your
other
spending.
accounts?
Oh, that's a good question.
Next up, let's talk about rewards. Most rewards programs use points. With points,
We
you're
use
never
iPhones.
quite sure how much they're worth or where
Spend-
or when
You've
you
just
can use
won
them.
a quarter an iPhone.
$100,000 for one
We
iPhone.
want you to get the most for your money. So every time you spend with Apple Card, you get cash back,
Oh,
and you get it every day.
oh,
It's my
interesting.
favorite feature.
Not Apple Rewards.
And we call it Daily Cash.
That's very interesting. Instant rebates.
But I want air miles.
So when
They're
you're
much more
buying your morning
confusing.
coffee, shopping for groceries,
Don't you love that
and
sound
anytime
and
you
the
pay
haptic
using
buzz that
Apple
goes with
Card,
that? Cha-ching.
you get
just
daily
bought
cash.
something.
Not a month from now, but every day.
But how
So
much?
every day you spend,
How much?
cash is added to your Apple Cash card, which is also in the Wallet app.
It doesn't actually turn into money.
And it's cash, like real cash.
Oh.
So you can do anything with it.
You know, in
Use
a
it to pay
way,
down your balance, spend it wherever you use Apple
can I
Pay,
cash out?
or
Can I
send
take
to
it?
friends using messages.
Can I get it?
You can send it to friends like
In
me.
fact, every time you pay with your iPhone
I'll
or
make you a
Apple
deal. I'll send you
Watch,
my cash if you'll send me
you'll
yours.
get 2%.
2%, that's very good.
In daily cash.
That is really good.
That's pretty high, isn't it, compared
Yeah.
to other credit cards?
And it's not different whether you're buying something at a restaurant or
Right.
For purchases made directly from Apple, like from our Apple retail stores, from our App Store, or when you purchase services like Apple Music
wanna get you hooked.
or News Plus, you get 3% daily cash.
So there you go. There's the Apple bonus. If you buy an iPhone, 3% off. So that's interesting.
yeah.
And the amount of daily cash that you can receive every day is unlimited. So that's
Well.
daily cash. Every day, cash.
If you spend
for
$1 million,
How great is
you'd
that?
get 20 grand. That's
not
pretty
bad.
good.
Yeah. I mean, you spend that pretty
Every day
regularly.
for lunch.
Another area where we can make a really big impact in improving your financial health is helping you understand how
So
much
an
you
Amazon
owe,
card
and
is
if
a
you
little
want
bit
to
higher,
pay it back
5%.
over time, how
At
much it
Amazon
will
or
cost.
anywhere?
At Amazon.
This is how most cards show your payment options, with an emphasis on minimum payments,
Or Amazon.
which cost you a
related.
fortune in interest and seem to be designed to keep you in debt. With Apple Card, our goal is to help you save on interest.
Target
So we start by making
And we're
it
getting
easy
this in the
to
chat
see a
room.
range of payment options.
gives you 5% when you use your
And
Target
because
card.
Apple Card calculates interest
you get-
in real time,
5%.
as you select different payment amounts, you can make a more informed payment decision, understanding the true cost.
Using just your finger.
Another way to save on interest is to pay more often, say bi-weekly or weekly.
Oh, interesting.
So we've added the flexibility to schedule more
I'd like to pay
frequent
every day,
payments.
please.
And when we thought about a financially healthy credit card, all the fees and high interest rates that most banks charge are just not okay. So Apple Card does not have any fees, no late fees, no annual fees, no international fees, and no over-limit fees. No fees even.
What? What? No fees at all,
That's crazy.
including international exchange rate fees, which
And our
are
goal with
often
Apple
very
Card
high.
is to provide each customer with an interest rate that is among the lowest in the
Let's
industry.
see what that is.
Even if you miss a payment,
They may
we
not
won't
mention it.
charge you a penalty rate like most banks do. Our goal is to make it easier for you to pay down your balance.
Makes
not
sense. I mean,
harder.
if Apple's going to get people to change to this card,
To create a
they're gonna have
credit
to
card,
give
you need a bank. And
something
to create a credit card as innovative
better
as
than the
Apple
other
Card,
guys.
we needed a bank that was willing to do
Notice they didn't
things
mention
that
the
had
interest
never
rate,
been done
however.
in the industry before. So we partnered with Goldman Sachs as the issuing
I don't know
bank
how
of
no
Apple
late fees
Cards.
could possibly
As a
work.
newcomer to consumer financial services, Goldman was up for the challenge of doing something more bold and innovative.
I guess people just
We're also excited to be working with MasterCard, who has been a fantastic partner on Apple Pay from the start. With MasterCard's global payment network, Apple Card will be accepted all over the world. We also designed Apple Card to set a new level for privacy and security. Security is totally integrated throughout the hardware and software. When you get your Apple Card, a unique per-device card number is created and stored safely in the secure element, a special security chip used by Apple Pay. Each payment includes a one-time dynamic security code which protects your card
this is
number
the same
from being
technology
used
Apple
without your
Pay
authorization.
uses, and
every purchase
it's one
is
reason I
authenticated
think Apple
with
Pay
Touch
is
ID
is
or
really
Face ID.
popular
With all
with a lot
of
of
these
people.
security features, Apple Card is the
It's
more
not only secure
way
but
to
private because the merchant doesn't get any information about
And
you.
Apple Card is designed with your privacy in mind. We created a unique architecture for Apple Card where Apple doesn't know what you bought, where you bought it, or how much you paid for it. So features
Even
like
Apple doesn't know
spend
that.
tracking and categorization all happen using on-device intelligence,
say, this is pretty
not on
compelling.
Apple servers.
Absolutely.
This is,
I mean, that's, yeah.
and it's interesting to mention that Goldman Sachs will never share your information.
And for Apple Card, Goldman Sachs
Sounds
will
like
never
they'll
share
get it.
or sell your data to third parties
That's
for
interesting.
marketing or
Goldman
advertising.
Sachs will get that information, however.
So that's Apple Card, designed for iPhone and a healthier financial life, and sets a new level for privacy and security. But that's not all. For those rare times when you happen to be somewhere where Apple Pay is not yet accepted, we designed something for that too.
A physical card?
And you know, when we design something, we design it to be the best.
Is it going to be made out of
now.
titanium?
It's made out of Gorilla Glass.
Ceramic? Yeah, it would be cool. A glass card?
Yes. So if you drop it, it shatters.
Oh my God, I can't believe they're doing this for their credit card. Oh,
Yeah.
Is it rose gold? We thought it might be rose gold.
Oh.
It's drilled. What? Why did they make a video showing how they make credit cards?
Yeah.
It's the thinnest credit card we've ever made. It's a nice credit card.
It is a nice credit card.
It's got a little apple on it. Show your affiliation. It's white. It's got a chip.
I don't even want to use it. I'm just going to get it.
Yeah, it's going to get all white's going to get all.
It's titanium.
Oh, it
And
is
there's a laser
titanium.
etched on it. It's the most beautifully designed card ever.
I was choking, Apple.
And your Apple Card is more secure than
No
others.
card number,
it has
no
no card
CVV.
number, no CVV, no
Nothing's on the
expiration,
card.
and no signature.
That's going to confuse people.
Of course, if you ever need that information, it's in the Wallet app. As I noted earlier, you'll receive 3% daily cash for purchases made directly
So
from
don't
Apple.
leave your iPhone at home.
2% daily cash for Apple Pay. And when you make a purchase with this beautiful titanium Apple Card,
Lisa, can
you
I get this card?
1% daily cash.
Am I allowed? No. But it's really good.
That's Apple Card. There's never been a credit card like it before. Apple Card will be coming to the Wallet app
I'll get
in
it.
the
You
U.S.
can look
this
at mine.
summer, and we think you're going to love it. Thank you.
She says it's too hard to import into QuickBooks.
Great.
I don't have 8,000 credit
With our
cards.
hardware,
How about if
with
I
our
get rid of all the
hardware,
other
software,
cards?
services, we
I think that's what
Apple
Apple
is
wants.
uniquely positioned to make the most significant change in the credit card experience.
This is more interesting than
No,
your
I
conversation
got
is way more
shut down
interesting
on
than
that
Tim.
one.
Now let's turn our attention to the App Store.
Yeah, woo. Who's cheering the
Apps
App
have
Store?
reshaped the way that we
love the
work,
App
connect,
Store.
learn, and play.
Is it really a woo,
From
though?
day one, the App Store has been a safe and trusted place for users to discover
Is this
and
going to be
download
the
apps.
gaming
We review every
subscription app?
single app before it goes live.
Or an app subscription.
We also have a team of expert editors creating rich editorial content and curated collections of the best
That's
apps.
what Nathan does.
The App Store has become
Is that
the
his job?
essential destination
So
to
he's not working
discover
on
new
news. I was
apps,
wrong.
to learn more about the apps you already have, or just to meet the developers behind them. It's no wonder that the App Store is now visited by over 500 million people each week. Now, the most popular category on the App Store is games.
Yeah.
In fact, iOS has become the largest gaming platform in the world. Yeah. Now, we want to make gaming
So
even
Apple Card
better.
won't be out till this summer.
To tell you more about what we have planned, I'm pleased to bring up Ann Tai, Senior Product Marketing Manager of the App Store. Ann?
Her name is Anti?
Ann Pie.
Oh, Pie.
Pie.
Many games on the App Store are not just hits, but also cultural phenomena. You know about them regardless of whether you've played them. They become part of pop culture, like the many Fortnite emotes we've seen on the playing field. And all of this is no surprise when there have been over 1 billion people who have downloaded games from the App Store. The App Store supports a vibrant gaming community of players of all ages and backgrounds from around the world, with a catalog of nearly 300,000 games. The App Store has both free and paid games. Free games are either supported by advertising or have in-app purchases, like Clash Royale. These are incredibly popular, and hundreds of millions of people love playing them. With paid games, customers pay upfront for the full experience.
They're explaining this because
Like
they're not
Monument
going
Valley
to
2.
probably
These
include
games often have
free or
incredible
free with an app
stories
purchase
that capture your imagination with their
games in
original
this.
art and music.
but only paid.
They
games.
are some of the most critically acclaimed
So a
games
gaming
ever
subscription
made.
service? Is that what we're going to get?
I think
But
so.
competing with free is hard. So these games haven't been as successful for
Yeah.
developers.
Freemium has
and they
really
haven't been
pushed
as
them
easy
out
to
of the
find
market.
for players. We think we've come up with a great new way to bring more of these amazing games to more people than ever before.
It's an interesting spin.
We
This is
are
to
working
promote
with some of
paid
the most
games.
creative game developers in the world on a new kind of service designed specifically for games like these. A service that is giving them the freedom to do the best work of their lives. We call it Apple Arcade.
Apple Arcade.
Apple Arcade is the world's first game subscription service for mobile, desktop, and living room. With Apple Arcade, we have curated a collection of brand new games that redefine games. And we're not just curating them, we're backing their development, and our team is working closely with developers to bring these games to life. We are really excited about this, and so are the creators we're working with. Let's hear from some of them now.
It sounded like Patrick was screaming and applauding in the other room.
Remember, Fortnite and games like that with in-app purchases aren't going to be.
Right.
Well, I don't know yet, but I suspect
Probably
you're not going to be included.
It's going to be independent developers, beautiful games that cost $9.99.
Yeah, and truthfully, we prefer those games because we
do.
don't like the kind of continual
It's an extraordinary
draw
time
down
to
of
be writing
money.
games. Beyond the Steel Sky is super ambitious in that it's taking a full, high-quality console game directly
And
to
it's
mobile.
interesting. Apple spins this as a way to support these paid games. I think the in-app purchase games have been kind of a problem. They've been so successful on the App Store.
The audio, all of those come together to create a gameplay experience that's completely immersive.
Where Cards Fall tells a
And I
very
think the
personal
consumers are getting a little burned out by the idea of having to buy donuts or cat coins or.
formative experiences. We see
But not ready to maybe pay $15.99.
Well, that's the question. I mean, how much is this going to be?
Well, I mean, per game right now you could pay
Yeah, yeah.
$15.
There's no guns, there's no killing. We're just
I think $7.99 for this, but there's no way they can do that.
Of the current market, and most people typically
wouldn't see it unless Apple Arcade exists. More than a game a month, right?
What if it's a quarter per game, like an actual arcade?
That's a great idea.
一つ一つ手作りをしなきゃいけなくて、毎日全員がこう苦労の連続って感じ
So he's hand drawing
背景にジオラマを使って、それを写真で取り込んで、その上を 3D キャラクターたちが冒険するような。
That's a lot of work. Oh, but look at that.
やっぱりジオラマを作る数にしてもですね、ちょっと怖くなる数を作らなきゃいけない。
We wanted Lifelike to have a calming effect on players. I'm not aware of another game that
I'm not familiar with any of these, and that in a way underscores Apple's point that
fascinating beauty
these paid games are having trouble succeeding.
We just simply don't want to be responsible for adding another layer of chaos into the world.
Overland is a post-apocalyptic road trip strategy game. The cool thing about it is every time you play, it's different. You never know what people you're going to meet or what places you're going to go. We're really excited that Apple was doing this platform because people have iPads, people have iPhones.
Yes, they
and that
do.
means bringing a whole new audience to games.
Yes,
That's
they
awesome.
do. I wonder if Apple will restrict these studios from making their games available on other platforms. I wonder what it'll.
For us, it was like Steam. Finally someone who gets it.
What will be the rumor was that Apple would distribute the revenue from this based on number of minutes played.
It could never have been done by the mainstream. Everything is changing.
This is really a compelling event at this point. Apple's announced some, I think, things that people really will want.
Developers are some of the greatest storytellers and artists in the world. From immersive AR to groundbreaking multiplayer, they're creating games that have never been possible before. These games are insanely fun and will appeal to the kid in all of us. And with Apple Arcade, you'll get to play all of these games. With a single subscription, you'll get access to over 100 new and exclusive games that will raise the bar for what's possible in gaming.
Somewhat like Microsoft's Game Pass.
You won't find these games on any other mobile platform or in any other subscription service.
So they're insisting on exclusivity.
So how will you get to Apple Arcade? Apple Arcade will be a new area right on the App Store with its own dedicated tab. Rather than pay upfront for each game, your subscription will allow you to download and play any Apple Arcade game from the App Store. And we'll be adding new games all the time. With full access to this amazing collection
probably
of
removing
new
games at the same time, much like Microsoft does with its Game Pass.
You'll have the freedom to try whatever you want, whenever you want. You'll be able to play Apple Arcade games across iPhone, iPad, Mac, and Apple TV, and pick up where you left off in a game, even if you switch devices.
Interesting. They'll require Apple TV
And unlike
versions
streaming
as well.
services, every game will be playable offline.
It's kind of a hidden benefit for
So you can play
Apple.
anywhere, regardless of your internet.
Offline play. I love that.
But you won't be able to play, you won't be able to just buy a one-off?
Interesting. Probably
all
not.
Apple Arcade games will be all you can play. So all game features, content, and future updates will be included. There will be no ads and no additional purchases needed. And parents can manage their kids' access with our screen time features.
Oh, shoot.
Like all our products and services, we've designed Apple Arcade to be a great experience. The App Store already works hard to protect your privacy. With Apple Arcade, we're taking it even further. Apple Arcade games cannot collect any data about you, nor track any information about how you play their games without your consent. Also, Apple Arcade will be curated by our team of expert editors, offer personalized recommendations, and your family will be able to enjoy it for no additional charge.
I'd trust him to do that.
We really think you're going to love Apple Arcade, a game subscription service unlike any other. You'll enjoy over 100 amazing new and exclusive games, and more games will be added all the time. So, who's ready to see more of these incredible games?
Remember, multiply this by 12, And you get the yearly cost, and I think that's a more important number. How much do you spend on games every year?
Right. So the new subscription.
This is going to be, of all the things we've seen, the toughest sell, I think. With only 100 games, mostly games you're not familiar with. You won't have the viral opportunities something like Fortnite has because it'll be exclusive to the Apple Arcade. I think as a developer, that looks like we're going to have Sonic. As a developer, you're going to want to think twice before you agree to this.
Right.
So you can't put it on Android then.
Apple Arcade will be available this fall.
Fall?
In over 150 countries and regions around the world. Pricing and more details to come.
Oh boy, this is almost a Google Stadia announcement.
Yeah.
That's interesting. What that means is they don't have the developers lined up yet.
I can't wait until all of us can play. Now let's talk about
This is going to be a tough
TV.
sell.
Because the reason Fortnite's popular is
For
because
over a decade, we've been bringing you innovative TV experiences. From the first TV shows that you could download right to your iPod to the best
So we've seen news, a credit card, a game, subscription service.
4K. We've done it because we love TV. TV is more than just entertainment. It's cultural. TV at its best enriches our lives, and we can share it with people that we love. Today, there is so much to watch in more ways than ever before. And with so many choices, sometimes it's hard to know where to start. That's why we created the Apple TV app. It's one place to easily discover shows you'll love from over 150 streaming apps across your iPhone, iPad, and Apple TV 4K. In fact, our vision for Apple TV app is to bring together your favorite shows,
even he's confused by
movies,
Apple TV and Apple TV
sports,
app.
and news, and make them available on all of your devices. So you can spend less time looking for something to watch and more time enjoying it. Today, we're excited to show you an all-new Apple TV app. And to tell you all about it, I'd like to invite up Peter Stern, Vice President of Services. Peter?
Thanks, Tim. Let's start with what you watch. Beginning with movies, all the new releases, and the massive iTunes movie catalog. Over 100,000 titles, plus your personal library, are now all built in to the Apple TV app. If you love movies, the new Apple TV app is now the place for you. Next, if you subscribe to cable or satellite TV, like Spectrum, DirecTV, or Optimum, or one of the new Internet Live TV providers, you can now access
Hulu, PlayStation
all of your
View,
sports,
or Fubo.
news, and network TV
Not, of course,
right inside
YouTube TV.
the Apple TV app. For so
Sling
many
TV.
people, these cable bundles are
Philo
convenient
TV,
because you can get
Pluto
access
TV.
to hundreds of channels for just one price. If you want it all, there's no better way. But for some of us, the big bundle is more than we need. So we designed a new TV experience where you could pay for only the channels you want, all in one app with the password you already have.
Not only the shows I want.
Watch everything on demand and ad-free.
Interesting. Hulu, of course, has an ad and
Download
ad-free
your
version.
shows to take with you anywhere. Enjoy the highest quality picture and sound available. And share this
I think
great
it's important
experience
to
with your
note
entire
that
family.
probably
This is how TV should work.
you're paying individually for each of these. So there won't be a bundle price here. Maybe there will.
Now it does. With Apple TV channels, Only the channels you want, on demand, ad-free, for the entire family. And all of it is inside the new Apple TV app.
You can subscribe through the app.
We're launching Apple TV channels like HBO, Showtime, Stars, Epix, CBS All Access, and everything else.
So the rumor
you
was
see
$10
here.
for any.
And we'll be adding even more around the world. So to recap, whether you get your TV from a live streaming service like Prime Video, Hulu, or ESPN,
the only thing they're adding is that you can now subscribe through
news and network
the TV app
from cable or satellite, or shows from HBO, Showtime.
They're not even
and
mentioning
the
any
new
Apple
TV
originals.
channels. It's all together in one place, the Apple TV app.
This is essentially
there is so much to watch.
Everything Apple TV's been up
one
to.
Place.
App has been up to
We've
now, except for
redesigned the Apple TV app to make it even simpler to find what you love.
But
Let's dig in.
password is easier.
That's
your
the
home
benefit.
in the Apple TV app is Watch Now.
The benefit is
Most of the time
enter
we
the password.
watch TV, we want to watch our show or tonight's game or maybe finish the movie we started
By the way,
last
tonight's
night.
game will almost certainly have
where the
ads
up
in it,
next
so I don't know what they mean ad-free.
All of these things you watch, no matter where they come from, are here in Up Next. It makes it so easy to pick up right where you left off.
Yeah.
But what do you do when you're all caught up on your shows? If you know what you want to watch next, it's easy. Just use Siri.
This is all
if you
features
don't know
that have
what
been
to
out
watch,
for at least a couple of
that's where
years.
the new Apple TV app really shines.
It doesn't always work great for
Our
me.
expert editors are like that friend you have
Yeah,
that
no, they're
always
not.
knows the best shows on TV. Every day, they do the work for you,
I
so you can
always
just watch
ignore
the
those
good stuff.
recommendations.
But when it comes to TV, each of us is unique. That's why the new Apple TV app is personalized for you. We use advanced machine learning to understand what you like to watch from the subscriptions you already have, so we can help you find your next favorite show. And of course, the new Apple TV channels are available too. So when you subscribe to a channel like Showtime, everything from that channel is in one place.
Now,
It's so easy to browse, and you can play all of it.
it looks like Netflix
right
is
inside the
completely
Apple TV
gone
app.
from the
No
Apple
more
TV
bouncing
app.
from app to app.
Not only not participating, but not even there. At least it's been there up to now. And search has
Moving
gone
beyond Watch
through.
Now, we've also
it's
created
been included
a
in
new home
search.
for movies. So you can buy or rent iTunes movies like Bumblebee, or you can watch Ocean's 8 from your new Apple Channel subscription to HBO. All your favorite movies are here.
Boy, this is not a
Apple TV
compelling
app
sell
is
in any
also
way.
great for sports fans. You can see current
This is-
games with live scores, check out tonight's matchups,
This is not new.
and even get notifications when your favorite team is having a close game. To show you some of the cool new stuff the Apple TV app can do, I'd like to bring out Cindy Lin, Director of Program Management. Cindy?
Now, it had been rumored that Apple would be serving the content directly from its servers, which would make a difference.
So
That's how they do
excited to show you
Netflix.
The new Apple TV app.
It would make a difference
the
in
app
performance.
is right here on my home screen. Let's dive in.
And would
Everything
they know
I've
then
watched-
how
It looks
much
exactly
of the show?
like the old Apple TV app.
I can pick up where I left off in the
Right?
marvelous
That
Mrs. Maisel.
thing at the top is a little different.
Watch the next episode.
Okay, they got rid of those sport, because the second row was all sports recommendations for me.
I get my cable from Spectrum.
What to
And I
watch
also
for
have
you?
Hulu and Prime Video. It's all right
Man, I
here
don't
in
see
the
any
Apple
Netflix.
TV app. There's so much to watch.
But Netflix
When I
is
want
just
to
one
find
click
something
away.
new, this is where the app
And
really
the Netflix
helps
app
me
will
out.
still be on
Yeah, right.
Apple TV.
It's always getting smarter
but the
about what I like.
The pitch here is that you'll stay in the Apple
for
TV
you are
app.
personalized just for me. I love Sandra Oh, and I've been hearing so much about this show. I'm definitely adding this to my Up
That
Next
exists
to
already.
watch later.
Maybe that's in Netflix where that
One of my
exists. or-
favorite features is this new way to browse TV. Swiping is just like channel surfing, except every show here
That does look different.
is when I actually
The
want to
ability to
watch.
swipe from
Yeah.
show to show.
And trailers play right here.
No, please, no. Not automatically. Please say no.
Was a lighthouse keeper. My mother was
If it's got autoplay video, I'm not happy.
But
I don't
life
think they would do that.
is a way of bringing people
But
together.
then-
Netflix does, as you know.
Yes, I know.
I love Jason Momoa in Game of Thrones, and I can't wait to watch Aquaman. There's already so much here, and it's so easy to add even more with Apple TV channels. Everybody's been talking about the new season of Billions on Showtime, and I need to get caught up. I can start my free trial
There's
right
only 2
here.
episodes so far.
It's just a couple of clicks, and then I'm
A
done.
couple of hours and you're done.
That's it. That was so easy.
Wait, didn't she watch it?
Now,
It also
everything from
zooms the
Showtime
information
is
into
here
your
in the
brain.
Apple TV app, and I can start watching right away. There's nothing else to set up.
Yeah, this is not. This is how it is now, by the way.
I can skip the intro to get right to the action.
I do like that feature.
Sometimes I have to re-sign into Showtime for no apparent reason.
That will continue. That, I think, is the cable companies requiring that.
No spoilers. I'm going to pick this back up again.
Yeah, that would be
later
huge
for
if
my
they could
up
stop that.
Well, if you're signing up
So
for
I have a
Showtime
5-year-old
through
son.
Apple
Oh yeah,
TV.
you wouldn't be, yeah. But you'd be. But if you've already paid for Showtime through a cable company, you're not going to be able to buy it separately again.
Or hypothetically, maybe your dad has a password that you've
Daniel
occasionally
Tiger.
used.
I thought your dad
Hypothetically.
used your password.
Everyone from Sesame Street.
I admit nothing.
There are so many episodes here, even the ones that I watched as a kid. And whether we want to learn something new, be inspired by other kids, or just let our imaginations run wild, I love that we have a safe place to explore together.
Unlike YouTube.
It's true.
So that's the subtext anyway.
So that's a quick look at the new Apple TV app. It's the best place to watch TV on all of my devices,
Unless you wanna
and I
watch
can't
Netflix.
wait for you to try it. Back to you, Peter.
Boy, that's underwhelming, and no mention at all of originals. Maybe now.
One more
Thanks,
thing.
Cindy.
I'd like to
Now that you've
introduce
seen the
Oprah
new
Winfrey.
Apple TV app, you're going to want it
You know her
on
as
all your screens.
Oprah.
You just saw it on Apple TV 4K. It looks and sounds stunning on iPad. And everything you saw is amazing on iPhone. So for all those moments in between, whether you're on your way to work or just stealing a moment for yourself,
just
all your
Learned that
shows are always
40%
with
of
you.
all mobile traffic goes to
You'll be able to
YouTube.
get this new experience, including Apple TV channels, on all these devices through a software update this May.
May.
And I'm so excited to tell you that for the first time, we're bringing the Apple TV app to the Mac this fall.
Guess I didn't realize it wasn't there.
And that's not all. We know you're going to want this great experience on every screen in your home, so we're doing something we've never done before.
Putting it on Android.
We're bringing the Apple TV app to smart TVs.
Yeah. This was kind of inevitable with the announcement that AirPlay 2 would be available on a huge number of smart TVs, Samsung, Sony, and others.
We're launching the same great experience with Samsung this spring, followed by Sony, LG, and Vizio, all the biggest names in smart TVs.
No Apple TV box necessary.
And we're even bringing the Apple TV
To
app
Roku
to Roku
and Fire TV. Now that's a
so
surprise.
everyone can have an Apple TV experience on every
That's
screen.
kind of a surprise.
Yeah.
You still probably have to buy an Apple TV to watch content from iTunes, I'm guessing, but maybe not.
Today, the Apple TV app is available in 10 countries. But we're bringing the all-new experience to our customers around the world in over 100 countries. The Apple TV app delivers on all these principles, including our commitment that we won't share your personal information with anyone.
Probably the sticking point for Netflix.
So that's the new Apple TV app. Your apps, movies, cable, the all-new Apple TV channels, all in one place on all your screens. Back to you, Tim.
Great job. Thank you, Peter. The new features of the Apple TV app look really great.
Texture will be shutting down
We
in
have
May.
even more to contribute to the TV experience. Apple has always
Here we go. Now
tried to make the world a better place. And we believe deeply in the power of creativity. Our products help people express their creativity and to tell their stories. Because great stories can change the world. Great stories can move us and inspire us. They can surprise us and challenge our assumptions. We feel we can contribute something important to our culture and to society through great storytelling. So we partnered with the most thoughtful, accomplished, and award-winning group of creative visionaries who have ever come together in one place to create a new service unlike anything that's been done before. Apple TV Plus.
That's a lot of pluses, a lot of money. A lot of $9.99 a month.
We have two amazing people that are running this effort for us, Zach Van Amberd and Jamie Ehrlich, and I'm very pleased to introduce you to them now and ask them to tell you all about this incredible new service. Guys? Thanks, Tim. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Maybe this is Ben Affleck.
Jamie and I are so excited to be here with all of you today.
Chris Evans, Ben Affleck,
As Tim
same
said,
person.
great stories can change the world. And that's because great stories connect us. They connect us to each other. They connect us to new ideas. And they even connect us to new worlds and cultures we've never experienced. Now that's important.
A great name.
And it's powerful.
No, maybe that's why
It
Google
helps
Plus shut
connect
down
us to
make
something bigger.
Make room for Apple TV Plus.
As individuals. At Apple, we know that great stories begin and end with the incredible artists who tell them. The artists who are thoughtful enough and brave enough.
It's interesting
share
that
their
Tim
best
said this
story
is
with us
designed to make
and
the
the
world a better place.
We thought you'd like to meet a few of these exceptional artists as we begin to share our vision for a new service dedicated to the best stories ever told. We've asked a few of them to speak about their inspiration and creative process. Because if we're going to contribute, inspire, challenge
People all excited
assumptions,
about
and
seeing
change
Chris
the world,
Evans in the audience.
we need to examine the art of great storytelling
I don't even know who
and the
that is.
mindset
Captain
of
America.
the greatest storytellers.
The Captain
Have a
America?
look.
Or a Captain America?
Oh,
I thought Chris
depends.
Pratt was.
Want me to help you find your opening?
They're all the same.
Well,
Chris.
I would do this. I would start with a black screen.
Spielberg.
And I would put a little speck of light in the center of the black screen.
I recognize that
I have
mustache
the light
anywhere.
grow in intensity. And then like the Big Bang, it explodes.
Life often makes no sense.
True.
There's something about stories that gives a sense of order and purpose to the world and allows us to live other lives than the life we're living.
The best ideas that I've had have come to me when I have least expected them.
Who is
They're
this? Do you know
always
who that is?
J.J. Abrams.
That was
They're
J.J.
welcome.
Abrams.
Yeah.
Right. Excuse me,
Once
Chris
you get an
Pratt.
idea in
That
your
is
head,
Star-Lord in the
just keeps nagging at
Guardians of
you
the
until
Galaxy.
you express it.
That's the feeling of the idea, that it just becomes irrational.
I know. I was thinking of
There's a
Jason
woman
Momoa.
sitting in
That's
a
who I was
car
thinking
in a
of.
field. Now I need to know.
Is that
why
Shyamalan?
she's sitting there.
M. Night?
I begin to believe that there's something of myself that I can share with an audience.
Ron
If
Howard.
I'm thrilled,
Better known
that's
as
a good
Opie.
sign. If I'm laughing, that's a good
Is
beginning.
he better known as Opie?
It's the spark. It's the living with the thing. It's the outlining of it.
I find writing to be the hardest part.
Writing and rewriting for months or years.
She dies. No, she lives. He dies.
The first draft, the second draft, the third draft, the fourth draft, the fifth draft, the sixth draft, yada.
Writing's
yada,
hard,
yada,
but
yada.
watching TV, it's
Then you
easy.
begin to build the collaboration
I want
that
to
will
get
help you go on that
stand
voyage.
points like
gotta
out on my
find the
Apple
cast
Watch
of your
or
dreams.
watching Apple TV.
For
There
every
you go.
character that I
It's a new
decide
circle.
to do,
Octavia.
I envision memories for them. I create
Spencer.
the dimensions of who this woman
Spencer. I
is.
was trying to create
Imagine
Spencer.
if you were this person, and imagine if you lived in that world.
You have to think about the environment that the story exists in. How are you going to create that environment?
What's the look going to be? What's the tone? What's the palette? How's it going to work? The costumes, the props, the set design.
You know,
Little by
honestly,
little,
we
elements start
really
to come together and build
don't
on each
care
other.
about your
It's electric
artistic
and amazing.
process.
You know, the thing is becoming alive.
You walk
Such
on
hard
the
work.
set and you smell this amazing aroma of sawdust, wood, and plaster.
You just sort of disappear into this fantasy world.
Jennifer
Then you have to
Aniston.
think, well, how are you going to shoot this thing? Because you're not going to shoot a movie chronologically. So you're often starting the movie shooting the most dramatic, most painful, most agonizing scene first.
My anxiety often starts at about 3 o'clock in the morning. The wheels have started turning. There is an excitement.
I just don't feel bad
and a
for you,
dread.
Ron.
You definitely go in with a very concrete sense of what you're aiming for. Then you have to be willing to throw it all away.
Nothing I'm doing is good. Nothing is
Sofia
working.
Coppola.
The shot goes up and it's not right. And that's torture.
It's not a
Torture.
big deal when it's just you and
So
a pad of
hard
paper,
being
but when it's countless numbers of talented
billionaire
people who are all
movie
waiting
director,
around and
it's
the
so
sun's
hard.
going away.
You're under
Standing
so
in
much
the water.
time pressure and you're kind of holding your breath.
Tick, tick, tick,
It's
tick,
really
tick,
hard
tick,
to be
tick.
the
Pressure is
daughter
on,
of
and
I'm
it's
millionaires.
surprised they're
It's
pushing
horrifying.
this
Fear
narrative
is good.
here.
At least for
Like
me,
how
it's good.
hard life is.
Fear of failure is
Major motion picture directors' lives are so hard.
To stand on the edge of the abyss, but at the same time not plunge to my career death.
It's all falling apart, and a new possibility appears.
Oh, turn on the rain.
There are those moments when the actor is sitting there and she's doing the thing that inspired you months, sometimes years earlier. Everyone is quiet and the crew's just focused and everyone's done their job to get you to this moment. Somehow everything is in sync.
There's truth pumping through your veins and into the story that you're telling.
I'm glad they showed the harp.
There is no greater moment than that when you feel that you are really cruising and
Nothing
you're one organism
says
telling
movies
one story
to a
and you're all
millennial
telling it with
than a
each
woman
other's
playing a harp.
contributions. Nobody's telling it alone.
The sun is in the perfect place, like the birds go right where you could never, like there are moments where you're like, it's impossible.
Well, see, he's got those strings attached to
You
him.
wrap the project, and then it goes out into the world,
So it's
and you
actually
hope that all
impossible.
of these decisions that you
There's
were
a guy
part of,
holding
that
that
you
rope.
collaborated on, it will move people and touch people in a way that it seemed like it was inevitable.
Nothing works if the themes don't connect with the audience. They have to.
Sharing stories
This
with
is
one
not
another
connecting with the audience, I don't think.
makes us feel less alone.
Everyone deserves to have their story be told.
That's what makes us special. It's a tapestry of who we are as human beings.
To become involved in someone else's life. That's the idea of what a story should be.
Honestly,
A story
does
should
not
make you
give me high
forget
hopes
your
for,
surroundings. Should make
Apple
you
TV
forget
Plus.
your agenda, your day, and hopefully makes you forget yourself.
Oh, please. By the way, that there was footage in there showing that the moon landing was fake. I just want you to note that.
Yep. You saw the rope.
Apple TV Plus Steven Spielberg. And there he is on stage getting a standing ovation from the Silicon Valley crowd. It's never seen a celebrity before.
The genius that looks most like Steve Jobs.
Yeah, he kind of does, doesn't he?
Thank you.
For a moment, I thought it was Steve Jobs.
I'm so grateful to be here today. This is my first time at Apple. The place where imagination and technology join forces to change the world through sight and sound and touch. Now, my first encounter with science fiction came from an anthology magazine called Amazing Stories. And this magazine had been in existence since 1926. And my father had devoured it when he was a boy. And when I was a little kid, he read this to me. And the stories he read me were, as the title promised, amazing, or so it seemed to a 5-year-old me. And it's relatively easy to inspire amazement in the head and heart of a child. Kids enter into the booming confusion of life with a prodigious capacity for amazement. And that amazement, that capacity, is a human birthright. It's our inheritance. It's how our interaction with the marvelous world around us gets sparks flying across our brains. And thanks to the
It's
visionary
interesting to remember
and
that Spielberg was the guy who said no Netflix movie should ever be nominated for an Academy Award.
be resurrecting this 93-year-old brand and offering to multi-generational audiences a whole new batch of amazing stories. And we want to transport the audience with every episode. Like the World War II pilot.
According to the journal, the original versions of The Amazing Stories were too dark for either Spielberg or Apple and had to be redone.
Who will he meet?
Yeah, that's been the rumors about all of their Apple's been
Lots
pushing
of
back on all
creative
their stuff.
difficulties, yeah.
It's the universal human trait to search for meaning. So in these disconnected stories, we think the audience will find that one compelling narrative that will make the first season of Amazing Stories into a single thematic experience for them, and I hope for all of you too. Thank you.
Well, because, I mean, take The Sopranos. Like, they had to go to HBO. They created that kind of television because they were pushing those boundaries, and Apple doesn't want them to push those same boundaries.
Yeah.
But that's what we want to watch as adults.
Oh, my God. It's Drew Barrymore and Jennifer Aniston. No, it's Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston.
Thank you, guys. This is so exciting. Reese and I are so proud to be a part of this exciting.
We knew there'd be celebrities on
launch
stage,
with
but we didn't know there'd be
officially
leather
announcing our
pants.
new project. Well,
You've heard of their show, their talk show.
Yeah, this is actually the one people seem to be most excited about.
So in the morning show, we pull back the curtain on the power dynamics between men and women in the high-stakes world
Jennifer's
of
having
morning
a little
news shows.
trouble with the college.
It's a real insider's
push it
view
up
into
there
the
a little.
lives of the people who help America wake up every day.
I'm sorry.
And through the prism of those underslept, over-adrenalized people behind and in front of the camera, we take an honest look at the complex relationships between women and men in the workplace, and we engage in the conversation people are a little too afraid to have unless they are behind closed doors.
We have that conversation on our show every week.
In front of the world. Oh, my God. Stephen Carell, ladies and gentlemen. TV's The Office, or whatever.
Hello. Hi. I saw the two of you on screen up there.
TV's Mike Scott.
And I didn't know if it was my turn or not.
No, Steve, we have to tell you, we're so thrilled that you're a part of the show because honestly, you
Apparently
can't have
TWiT
honest,
making
an
a
honest
big
look
comeback in
at
Hollywood
complex
this
relationships
for men anyway.
between men and women with just women.
Well, I am just happy to provide the manliness.
Yes, the morning show is seen through the eyes of two ambitious, aspirational female characters.
And a prominent male.
Yes. A prominent male character, yes.
Yeah. Steve, why don't you say something about your character? He's very bold and very dynamic.
Yes, but even more importantly, Jen, he's bold and dynamic. He has a lot of gravitas. He's a great listener.
Yeah.
He's also relatable and extremely handsome.
Okay.
His colleagues love him, and America loves him. He also...
He's surrounded by an exciting ensemble of other characters, all from the very brilliant mind of Carrie Aaron, our writer-producer.
She created... Incidentally, she created a very bold, dynamic character for me.
Steve, is there anything else that you want to add?
No.
Okay.
Okay, the morning show is a high-velocity thrill ride in which we pose questions without easy answers and shine a light on the fault lines.
We couldn't
in our
get Aaron
society at
Sorkin,
this
but...
very complicated cultural moment.
All of this and the chance for us to collaborate again has brought me back to television, and I'm really excited about it.
Because I'm getting big bucks for it.
So we can't wait to show all of you what we have been cooking up.
So be on the lookout for the morning show.
It's not a comedy.
It's not an actual morning show.
It's not in the morning.
It is a show.
It's a show.
I think it looks funny.
You think it's a comedy?
Yeah.
They didn't sell it as a comedy. Who's that? It's Jason Momoa. TV's Aquaman.
Thank you.
And Octavia Spencer. TV's mom.
We are so thankful
Either
to be
she's
here.
short or he's really tall.
Pretty stoked.
Or both.
I'd like to try something with everyone. So
Okay.
please close your eyes.
Try it with me, Jason.
Just close them.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to experience something.
Hear the water.
Try to think about the world this way. Heard, touched, smelled, sensed.
Carson, are you adding water to this soundtrack?
Imagine every human experience available to you.
I gotta go with the bathroom.
Love,
Excuse me.
joy, discovery.
It's Alfred
care,
Woodard?
Despair and hope.
I don't know who it is.
Imagine it was all experienced this
is.
way. Heard,
It is.
It is Alfred
touched,
Woodard.
smelled, taste even, but not seen.
TV's The Rock.
Now open your eyes.
I don't know
Let me
who
spoil
anybody
this a
is.
little bit. You have no idea what that would be like.
I have no idea what you're
Neither do I.
talking about.
Being blind isn't something that can get turned on and off.
That's the point of this
It's part
story.
of who you
Everybody in the
are,
world's blind.
Part of your soul.
Yeah.
Now, while you're at it, imagine a world evolved, designed, and built to be experienced without sight. We did, and it yielded the world of C.
From the unfettered imagination of Stephen Knight,
Oh, that's C.
C takes place in a world in which the Earth was devastated by a virus that left only a few million survivors. And those survivors, each and every one of them, emerged blind. Our story begins centuries later, at which point the human race has existed for so long
Why
without
is it movie
sight.
stars can't
It's
read from
disputed
prompter
whether
to
such a
save
thing
their
ever
lives?
existed. In this world, we are going to have our evil queens, brave heroes,
So it's like
and
The Quiet
thrilling
Place.
adventure.
Yeah, but they're blind.
But
So it's like
beyond the
The Quiet
adventure,
Place meets
C
the
will
bird
ask
that
questions
caught him.
you may have already started asking yourselves just now with your
Bird
eyes closed.
Octavia.
How much of my experience of the world is visual? Without sight, would it change who I am?
Look at how it's staring.
Is Jason Disney asleep? What's going on here?
Unlike any you've ever
I think he's
experienced.
receiving telepathy
C
from
is a journey
under the sea.
wherein we may discover something entirely new about ourselves,
Oh, somebody just
about
fell
our
over.
world. As a result, we cannot wait for you to join us on this journey.
Oh, God, was that awkward? Octavia Spencer and The Rock and their new show, Under the Sea. Oh, this is Kumail Nanjiani. Where's Emily V?
I grew up in Karachi, Pakistan. Okay.
You're in Silicon
Pakistan's
Valley.
in the
It's
house.
okay. You're
Hi.
among friends.
He is my favorite.
What I knew of America, I learned from Hollywood movies and American TV shows. So when I was moving to America at the age of 18, I was excited. I was
He
excited
and his
about
wife,
the idea
Emily
of
V.
being
Gordon, are the
dwarfed by
authors of
skyscrapers that would loom above the,
Big
horizon
Sick,
to herald my arrival.
which is their
Then
life
I
story.
landed in Iowa.
True story.
Okay, Iowa's here too. And I thought, this is very different from the America in movies. You guys don't lead with that America, you know? I'd missed the one movie that would have prepared me for that America, Iowa, Field of Dreams.
Here's a guy with some
Did not
stage
see that one.
experience.
I was like, this is false advertising.
Tell he's not even reading,
This
right?
is
It's just-
not the America I was promised. I was one of two Pakistanis at the college I went to, but I found common ground with people. My love of Springsteen, their curiosity about how to say various swear words in Urdu.
This is probably from his routine, his
I once
actual
made a huge
comedy
pot,
routine.
I once made a huge pot of this Pakistani beef stew called halim, and I misread the recipe and put in twice the amount of chili powder.
By the way, at this point,
I lost a
zero
lot of
clips from
friends
these
that
shows,
day.
which is
Yeah.
pretty unusual
They
for this
didn't,
kind of
like, die.
presentation.
They just wish they were dead.
Because they're not ready.
Eventually,
Well, but we'd
I
heard
moved
that at
to
least some of these
Chicago,
shows were already
and I
in
did
the
what
can.
every
So
American does. I struggled to pay rent, fell in love, got jobs, lost jobs, got a cat, burned food, disappointed my parents, and tried to figure out what to do with my life. Normal, everyday life stuff. When people defend immigration, they focus on the exceptionality of immigrants. Albert Einstein was an immigrant. Joseph Pulitzer was an immigrant. While those stories are inspiring and valuable, we wanted to focus on the immigrants doing everyday life stuff. Little America is an anthology series inspired by the true stories of immigrants in the US. Here's the thing, it's not about telling like immigrant stories. These are human stories that feature immigrants. When you get to know someone and start to see your struggles and their struggles, your passions and theirs, your problems and theirs, they stop being the other. I, along with my partners Emily Gordon, Lee Eisenberg, Alan Yang, and Epic Magazine, wanted to make a show that did just that. Because ultimately, we're all looking for the same thing: food, home, meaning, love. Like the emotional story of a young Indian boy living in Utah whose parents achieved the American dream of running their own motel until they were suddenly deported. 12-year-old Kunal wasn't going to let his parents' dream die, so this young boy secretly ran the motel for the next 10 years on his own while simultaneously plotting his quest to get his parents back to the U.S. Okay, true story. He competed in the National Spelling Bee
This whole time,
so that he could meet First Lady Laura Bush.
his mother was a skeleton in the attic.
And he came in 13th, and he actually got to meet her.
Aw.
He did.
This is not going to be compelling television, I'm afraid.
I think it's going to be good. It's produced also by Alan Yang, who did Master of
I know you guys
None.
are like 13.
The season,
Doesn't
sorry.
sound that impressive, but he was running a motel at the time, too.
I thought this was a season, sorry.
And he speaks a whole other language.
Just kidding.
Did Laura Bush help him? Tune in to find out. Little America will cover the full range of human emotions. Some episodes are funny, some are romantic, some are thrilling. They feature immigrants from Iran, Syria, Nigeria, Mexico, and more, and are set all over America, from Texas to Oklahoma to California. The majority of the writers and directors are either immigrants or the children of immigrants. Yeah. On set, one of our actors said to Emily, "I've been acting for decades, but I've never gotten to be in every scene." How awesome is that? We hope Little America will help viewers understand that there is no such thing as the other, there is only us. Which is why at this moment in history, we are excited that we get to tell these stories with Apple. Connecting humanity is in their DNA. The immigrant dream is the American dream. Connecting through our stories will give us a better understanding of each other, an understanding that allows us to live together, eat each other's food, maybe learn some fun new ways of swearing. And that is the America I was promised. We can't wait for you to see our Little America. Thank you.
Apple bringing out the star power, but not bringing out the clips for its new Apple TV Plus.
Right, we got to see that lovely video of the making of the credit card, but not
That was awesome.
Not any of these clips.
And now apparently Oprah refusing to come on stage.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it takes a little while to get Big Bird out there.
Big Bird missed his cue.
I don't think he can actually walk in that suit.
It's me. In case you don't know who I am, I'm Big Bird.
They had to carry him.
I think I'm in the right place to meet my new friend Cody, but I'm not sure. She gave me directions to get here. She said first, turn right at Hooper's
this
store.
is starting to be painful.
Then take a left at Oscar's trash.
An hour and a
can.
half into
keep
Apple's
going straight
event,
till
some
you
very
see Apple Park.
exciting, I think, announcements. A return of texture in an Apple News app that will cost $10 a month for 300 magazines.
Hi, Cody.
A new Apple Pay-based Apple credit card
Hey, thanks for helping me
with
get
3% back. I'm sorry, 2% back. 3% on Apple products. And an Apple Arcade product, which won't be out until the fall and has no price. Now we're watching
Big Bird and Cody.
thrilling presentations of new shows
Oh.
Yeah, see.
on Apple TV.
Thank you.
Plus.
Oh, gosh. Never had a live stream clap for me before. See, helping is my
It's a good
favorite
point that
thing
this
to do.
is comparing
My
to
Helpster friends and I
YouTube
just
Kids
love
and
to
other
help
free
anyone
services
with any problem, no matter
that
how
have
large or
been
small.
Except the problem is when your kid says, I want to watch Phineas and Ferb, you're not going to Apple TV, you're going to YouTube.
Right.
We use the big ideas behind coding to solve problems.
You don't say.
I do say.
Well, do you think you could help teach me?
Oh, I already did.
Huh?
You know those directions I gave you?
Yeah.
Well, directions are one of the building blocks of coding. See, coding fosters collaboration, critical thinking skills, and is an essential language that every child can learn. By teaching preschoolers about coding, we're giving them the opportunity to
accurate. Coding itself is not a language.
You know, in their own special way.
I don't think preschoolers should really learn to code, to be honest. To be really fair, I don't think that's a good use of their time. Maybe the alphabet.
Right. And we're talking about only the ones whose parents can afford iPhones, iPads, and this subscription service, whatever. Then those who can't will be stuck on
Just like
YouTube.
how you and all your friends on Sesame Street have done for all these nice people when they were kids and continue to do today.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, well, that's pretty cool.
It sure is, Big Bird. Okay, so do you remember those directions to get home?
I think so. Hey, do you want to come with me?
Of course, let's go.
Okay, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
I'm tired. I need to be entertained as an adult. Another quiet moment. Someone else missed their cue.
This is not, I would say, a well-presented Apple event.
Well, usually they have someone introducing the next.
They're doing
person.
blackouts between each presenter. And the presenters are slow to move.
J.J. Abrams and
I feel,
Sophia Coppola.
thank you. I feel incredibly lucky to be here today.
Someone else.
Isn't
Get
it?
a chance to
I don't know what she
collaborate
looks
with
like.
Sarah, whose music
It's Sarah Bareilles.
and with Apple is an actual
The
thrill.
author of
A
Waitress.
couple years ago, I ran into JJ, and we talked about my experiences as a singer-songwriter, the struggles, the drama, the insanity, and he asked if I had ever thought about creating a series about that world. I had not.
Including a giant
but
monster
I heard myself
about to
say,
eat the world.
yes, JJ, of course I have.
Sarah Bareilles is a liar.
It's Waitress, the
That's the
reboot.
message I hope to communicate today. We brought in Jesse Nelson, Sarah's writing partner on the musical Waitress. We talked about music, but also about that terrifying, thrilling, absurdly wonderful, and often embarrassing time when, as a young person, you venture out to the world for the first time.
So this was the beginning of our new series, Little Voice, a funny, romantic show about the reality of what is hard and wonderful and transformative about
Apple seems to have reinvented the Hallmark Channel. I hate to say it, but this is all going to be feel-good stuff, isn't it?
through music.
Stuff that
With morals.
Yeah. Or just stuff that doesn't have
Any
boobs in it.
challenges
The main character
or
is a
crucifixes.
promising, flawed young woman, a musician living in New York, in and around a vibrant community of young, hopeful artists, family and friends, soulmates and bandmates, learning to find herself and her own true voice.
Anyone who's ever given everything they have to go after a dream will feel like this show was written for them.
But
And
will
how
they
lucky
be
for the series that Sarah's not just a creator and producer, but also composer.
The theme song says it all.
Oh, she's going to sing. But that's not actually a stage, it's a slide, so she's going to sing on a piano in front of the stage slide.
It's everything I am and what I'm not and all I'm trying to be. This is the part where I spit it all out and you decide what you think of me.
So Renee Ritchie says, don't be cynical. This is for the audience. They're intending it. This is exactly what they're looking for. I'm not sure I agree. I don't know who this is for.
It's just a little voice.
Honestly, this Apple has yet to prove that it can create compelling television content. The two shows it's made so far have been less than impressive. And this presentation is not much better.
When he says the audience, does he mean the audience in the room?
No.
or
The audience that Apple's intending to win over with Apple TV Plus.
They can cut both ways.
Without a hit, Apple TV Plus just is a non-starter. Maybe for people with preschool children.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, huge Spielberg fans.
Sometimes a little voice can say the biggest things. It's just my little voice that
I mean, I love Sarah Bareilles. I wasn't crazy about Waitress, but it's nice to see her on stage. I don't think this is a mainstream thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it just depends. Am I really going to pay another $10 a month for this?
We don't even know what it's going
and
to
the
cost.
magazines
Yeah.
and the $14.99 a month I pay for Apple Music, plus the $10 I pay for iCloud storage, plus the iPhones.
And they're competing with some pretty big players here, Amazon and Netflix chiefly, HBO somewhat.
As you can imagine, we're honored to be working with such amazing and talented people. And that's just the beginning.
I'm glad they put their names on screen.
We've
Who's
partnered
Cody?
with the most
Cody
accomplished
is the
storytellers,
little coder.
as well as a new generation
Cody the
of
coder.
the most exciting voices who together will define Apple TV Plus as the
There are
destination.
a lot of big names on that board, including Spike Lee.
I'm glad we didn't have to listen to all of them now.
The original shows and movies will intellectually challenge and thrill, define and redefine our expectations, inspire us, make us laugh, transform our mood, and brighten our day. They'll make us believe anything is possible.
This is where I want them to
Documentaries to dramas,
announce Air Power.
from kids to comedies, the highest quality of storytelling
If you give me
in
Air
one
Power,
single place.
I'll pay $50
This
a month
is
for Apple TV Plus.
What do you think Bill Murray's doing for them? They put his name on the screen.
Stand by 3.
I can't see Bill Murray doing something for Apple, but
Stand by 1. Make your move.
Are we going to get clips now?
Ready? 6.
these are clips.
I'm ready.
5, 4, 3.
Don't give Jason Momoa a cleaver. That's dangerous.
I'm going to watch that morning show.
And you know what? I'm interested in C as well. I think that looks intriguing. This is that clearly with the girl on the scooter is a Steven Spielberg.
Amazing story.
Yeah. This looks pretentious as hell. But that's just the way it's being cut, right? Everybody's got this dramatic expression. Was that Aaron Paul? It was. And Lizzie Kaplan. And of course, that was Johnny Depp as Willy Wonka. All right, we'll see. What's happened on this event is it's gone from available right now to available later this year. I'm really curious when they think this will be out.
That's great. Thank you.
And for how much?
So, that's a first look at Apple TV Plus. It's not just another streaming service. It is the destination where the world's greatest storytellers will bring their best ideas to life. And you'll be able to experience all these original shows and movies right on the dynamic new Apple TV app. And the TV app will deliver Apple TV Plus across all your Apple devices and the biggest screen in your life on smart TVs. So here's a few more details.
Coming in the fall.
Apple TV Plus is an ad-free subscription service. It's on demand, available online and offline. Everything's downloadable. The best in entertainment. With
Such a change from the Apple playbook, which is to not announce stuff until it's available.
Every single month. It's available in 100+ countries. It's a global service. And it's all starting this fall. Apple TV Plus will define commitment to quality storytelling, all in one place, on every screen in your life.
We are so excited to share our vision of Apple TV Plus and can't wait for you to experience it for yourself. Thank you, and back to Tim.
Thanks, everybody.
Love it. Thank you, Zach and Jamie. Apple TV Plus looks incredible, and we think that it will encourage new ways of looking at the world. This is just a sneak peek, the beginning of something very exciting. The opportunity to work with all of these exceptional artists is truly inspiring.
So we're probably 6
will
months
bring
out
their
for
own unique perspective
Arcade,
to stories.
Apple Arcade and Apple TV Plus.
Now, we have one more remarkable storyteller to share with you this morning. One whose voice illustrates how powerful stories can change lives and change the world.
Bono? There's never been a better time for optimism, inclusion, and creativity. Apple stock down $3.50 to inspire people to find common ground. Of course, the stock market's been selling off as a whole, so I'm not sure you can blame this for it. And there's one voice that has done this best. This has got to be Oprah. A voice that we have all been missing. Yeah, it's Oprah. A voice that, when amplified, reminds us how much ideas matter, how much conversation matters, how much community matters. Phil Donahue.
Patrick says holographic Steve Jobs.
Oh, that would be cool. Now there's Oprah.
I have been missing Oprah.
Kate Blanchett. No. Maury Povich, ladies and gentlemen.
We need someone always telling us
There
to
she
live our
is.
best
There's
lives.
Oprah. And wearing a cape, by the way.
I believe that's a jacket.
Is it a jacket?
A long jacket.
The only difference is sleeves.
Yes.
It's Superman's cape, I think. Oh no, you're right. Well, wait a minute. What the hell is it? It's tails. She's wearing tails. She's wearing white tie and tails.
Okay. Hi.
Hi. That is a big buildup.
There has never been a moment quite like this one. We have this unique opportunity to rise to our best selves in how we use and choose to use both our technology and our humanity. We're all at a crossroads where we get to decide if we want to reach beyond the borders of our hearts and minds to face the daunting challenges of our time. Each of us comes to this earth with a deep potential that yearns to be fulfilled, with a love to be set free. We all crave connection. We search for common ground.
Would you like a
We
mint?
want to be heard, but we also need to listen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Be open, and contribute in order to harness our hopes and dreams.
What if she just announced she was running for president here?
Our divisions. That's why I have joined forces with Apple.
To run for president. With my running mate, Tim Cook.
Somebody tweeted that only Apple and Hollywood love themselves
Because
this
they're
much.
the company that
They're
has
natural
reimagined how we communicate.
Partners.
I've joined in order to serve this moment because the Apple platform allows me to do what I do in a whole new way, to take
Make
everything
money.
I've learned about connecting to people to the next level. Because they're in a billion pockets, y'all, a billion pockets. The whole world's got them in their hands, and that represents a major opportunity to make a genuine impact. So I am proud and honored to be a part of this new platform where I can connect with people around the world to share meaningful ways to create positive change. My intention
Nothing I'm
is
seeing
to
here breaks YouTube's
and to
lock
build greater awareness
on people under 30.
compelling conversations with newsmakers, with leaders, with artists, with people in all walks of life. I want to reach that sweet spot where insight and
By the way, Oprah,
perspective,
Colonel Sanders calls. He wants his outfit back.
tolerance actually intersect. So I have 2 documentaries in the works right now. One exploring the toll of sexual harassment, assault, and violation in the workplace. The working title is Toxic Labor. The other, yet unnamed, multi-part series focuses on mental health and how this scourge of depression and anxiety, post-traumatic stress, addiction, trauma, and loss is just devastating lives daily across the globe. And what I know is if we do our jobs right,
There's Octavia Spencer. This is Apple as a do-gooder. This whole network feels like the do-good network.
Right.
And now,
you're her demographic. Is this exciting for you?
Yeah, I
Okay.
like both. I hope to explore both of those topics. Watch someone else explore those topics.
Actually, more gratifying than an extraordinary read is being able to share that experience with others. And we're going to do just
Oprah's
that
book
by
club is
building
back.
the biggest, the most vibrant, the most stimulating book club on the planet.
By the way, a huge driver in book sales. Nothing more powerful.
If I could just go to a book club every night, I would.
Stores stream
I bet every one of these books is available only on
all
iBooks.
devices across all
Or not
borders,
only, but
uniting people to stories that remind us that no matter who you are or where you're from, every man, woman, and child looks up in awe at the same sky. So I want to literally convene a meeting of the minds connecting us through books. For as long as I can remember, I've had this dream that for us all to someday realize that deep potential that we are each born to. It abides in every soul. I know this to be true. And my deepest hope is that we all, humans, get to
I think a live stream book club is actually the most interesting thing I've heard on Apple TV Plus.
Absolutely.
For our common good. To leave this world.
Do you have to go to the Apple store to do it?
Kinder.
Oh, that's good. I'm sure you could do it on your Apple TV.
I would hope so, yeah.
Move together.
Well, maybe from the Apple store. Streamed from the Apple store.
Into a future of our own design, all connected through Apple.
Oh, dear.
Thank you.
Do not criticize. Do not speak ill of Oprah to me, Gabe.
And yet, Apple is a luxury brand. I mean, I don't think.
Yes, it is.
I don't think Oprah embracing a luxury brand. There's Phil Schiller in the front row there.
Thank you.
Really matches her brand, but maybe it does.
I will never forget
does.
this.
I mean, all of her favorite things are luxury items.
That's a good point, yeah.
Okay. Oprah joins these amazingly passionate and award-winning artists. These are people who we admire for their unique voices,
Vanity Fair
incredible
style
creativity,
photo. That's awesome.
and wonderfully diverse perspectives.
Every
They've impacted
one
our
of those artists.
culture, society, and we're so excited and so humbled to be working with them. We can't wait to hear all of the incredible stories that they're going to tell. What a fun morning. From everything we've shared with you, you can see how important these services are for us and for all the ways they extend the experiences of our customers even further. They entertain, inspire, inform, and enrich our lives. Because at Apple, the customer is and always will be at the center of everything that we do. Now, before I close, I'd like everyone from Apple that works so hard in making today possible to stand up so that
This is always a nice feature of the Steve Jobs keynote, something Tim hasn't done for a long time. But acknowledging the team.
They've sacrificed a lot to get us to this day, and I sincerely thank you. It's amazing the privilege of a lifetime that I have to be able to work with all of them. I want to thank everyone for coming. I want to thank all the artists that came out today and shared time with us. And most of all, thank you to all the folks watching, our customers. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And there it is, the Apple news event, which was, of course, news and a lot more, as we expected. No surprises, even down to the celebrities taking stage with Apple. Megan Morrone, your thoughts?
I think the big surprise was that nothing's available now except for Apple News.
Yeah.
Right? And that,
Apple News, in theory, you can download right now, and that will include the opportunity to subscribe for $10 a month to Apple's new magazine stand, which is basically texture with a new UI. And I think the new UI could be fairly important. And, of course, Apple promises privacy throughout all of these products, that they're not going to advertise to you, that they're not going to snoop on you. No price for Apple TV Plus. It won't be available till the fall, so you've got time to save your pennies. And no price for the Arcade, Apple Arcade, which is going to include 100-plus games for a single subscription fee. When did they say the credit card would be available?
I think they said the fall, too.
Okay.
Or May.
May, that's right.
May.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the credit card is really interesting, and you put it perfectly. He was very excited about getting money from everything that we bought. Every time we bought something, Apple would have a piece of that, which is exciting for a company.
The important part of this is really, this is, as we predicted, a pivot for Apple. This is Apple saying, okay, we understand that the market is softening for the iPhone, that we're not going to make as much money as we did from selling hardware. However, and they've been saying this, analyst calls for at least a couple of years, we feel that services is a big growth area. In fact, services did grow 33% for Apple last year. And the way you do that is by providing more content, more things to subscribe to, more things to pay for. The question is whether users are going to want to add 3 more subscriptions or 4 more subscriptions to their invoice. I think I'm bullish on the Apple News. I think that at $10 a month sounds like something useful, especially on an iPad.
And I'm excited about journalists having a more platforms that people will read.
Yeah.
Like I said, I subscribe to the New Yorker, and it's just basically a pile of guilt. Like, I'll never get to all of them.
And that's why we like texture, right?
Right, because then you can just spend time with articles. And I liked being able to search for a topic and then be able to see the article in the Atlantic and the article in like Marie Claire and all those different places. I liked the Apple TV from a family, or Apple TV and Apple TV Plus from a family perspective. I think that is nice, especially because YouTube is such an unknowable place right now, and there's so many bad actors there that you really can't leave a kid with YouTube anymore. So having this walled garden is nice for kids, but then it's the walled garden.
But how much content will be there?
Right. And then
Sesame Street.
I don't want a walled garden for me as an adult content. Yeah. From all the rumors, it just seemed like there was a very Tim Cook aesthetic on a lot of him actually going in and pushing back on creators, whereas like Netflix and Amazon Prime, like those creators have been a lot of unknown people that they've taken a chance on, and then we've gotten to see these stories that we wouldn't normally have seen in Hollywood. And what Apple is saying, look, here's all these people you know and love, like Jennifer Aniston and Oprah, and we're having them create. And it's like, okay, well, great, but we were hearing from them anyway. You're just paying them more money. What about the people whose voices we don't usually hear that Netflix and Amazon could take a chance on?
Right. Well, and I think Netflix and Amazon have a lot more real estate, and so are taking a chance on some of these. You're seeing a lot of interesting documentaries on both. Apple only has a handful of shows. So
right. Why don't they have more real estate? Why aren't they?
Maybe they will in time. I don't know.
Hope so.
This is the problem. This is, and it's again uncharacteristic for Apple to announce something 6 months ahead of its availability. But that's why we just don't know. There's no answer.
Well, because Netflix didn't start with those unknown people. Right. It started with movies, big movies that you could stream.
Apple's stock price, which had gone down considerably at the opening bell today, went up throughout the event, and then down as the event started to wrap up, and then it's going back up again now, but it's off currently $3.50 from its opening price, which is a fairly significant amount of money. I don't know if I can say that means Wall Street's not impressed. There were probably high hopes for this for Apple, and certainly I think if you just look at the opportunities for revenue, particularly with the credit card, I think that probably is good news for Apple's bottom line. Mm-hmm. Really unknown what the content offering offerings will do to Apple's bottom line. But I think the stock, the credit card is going to be a big one. So there you have it. What do you think? Excited by what Apple has talked about today, or it's not? I don't think it's the kind of event like an iPad event or an iPhone event where people are going to jump up and down and say, "I gotta have it, I gotta have it," or there'll be a line around the block to buy it. But at the same time, it is Apple saying this is our future, which is content and services, and it'll be only, as they say in local news, only time will tell whether this is enough to boost the bottom line. Megan Morrone, thanks so much. We'll be back tomorrow with iOS Today. We'll talk more about this, of course, at that time. 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern Time, 1600 UTC. You'll be back on Thursday with Tech News Weekly. You can talk about it then with Jason Howell. We'll see you all later. Thanks for joining us for this Apple's Spring Event 2019. Bye-bye.